Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
All righty, here we are back again, once again, with Student of the Gun Radio. Things are just popping all over the world, and there you are out there in the audience wondering what the freak you need to be doing.
And Zach's not going to say a swear today.
Yeah, Zach's not going to say a swear today.
You don't believe it, know that?
To delete it.
You don't believe it, know that.
So it's Wednesday. Wednesday's show. It's number 749er. 749. Wow, the big 750 is coming up next week. Next Monday will be 750.
My mama said.
Yeah, so Mama said.
What are we going to do for episode 1000?
I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. When are we going to have Miss Nancy and Alex? On Friday. Oh, I'm looking at the show notes that Jarrad just dropped it in there. We have 3 laptops going, and we all have show notes, and we share the show notes. And so you see people dropping stuff in. Like, Miss Nancy and Alex are going to be joining us on Friday on the grad program, according to Jarrad.
Yes.
So if you'd like to watch that or listen to it or read it or shop it or whatever.
If you're in the grad program, go post your questions for them in the Liberty Mastermind. There is a thread that is specifically dedicated to the questions for the ladies. So if you post your question there, it will be read first. If we get through all those, then maybe I'll search through some other stuff. If you're not in the grad program, you can probably post questions in the public group or send an email or whatever, info@studentofthegun.com. Obviously, we're going to tend to the grad program questions first. If you want to become part of the grad program so you can hear the episode with the ladies, then you can go to getsotg.com. And you can watch, listen, read, shop, and connect there at getsotg.com.
Getsotg.com. Oh, man, by the time you guys hear this, by the time these words are dripping ever so gently into your ear holes, we, the Student of the Gun crew, will be on our way to Dallas. Yes, we will be almost there for the, well, no, we're not checking in until Thursday, right, Jarrad? I think. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
But anyway, we be on the way. That's for sure. And we've got a whole bunch of stuff in store for you. Yes, for those of you who can't join us in person, we will continue to release Student of the Gun episodes for you to listen to. Fear not. I know you were afraid, but you need to fear not. There may or may not be a Student of the Gun best of next Monday. We haven't made that decision yet. But the facts are these. Today is Wednesday, and every Wednesday we do a Brownells Bullet Points. That is our guns and gear segment. And we have a brand new, or relatively new, guns and gear update theme song. Yes, Firepower by Judas Priest. And I just saw a blurb on the F book that Firepower, Judas Priest was going to be doing a Firepower tour this summer with Deep Purple. I don't know how many of the guys from the original Deep Purple are still around, but that should be, for people my age, should be quite the treat. And even if you're not my age, you should see Judas Priest because they are the godfathers of heavy metal. All right. Well, what are we going to talk about this week on Brownell's Guns and Gear? Guns and Gear segment by Brownells. Well, how about weapon lights? You guys want to talk about weapon lights? Okay.
I do.
Zach does. Zach wants to talk about weapon lights. What is a weapon light? Well, a weapon light is a light that is attached to your gun. Now, most of you probably have, if you have a weapon light, you probably have it mounted to your pistola. Because for about at least 10 years, maybe 15, the firearms manufacturers of America have been putting rails on duty guns. Whether it's Glock or Smith or Canic or you name it, there's rails on those suckers. So you can put lights on them, which is a good thing because you want to see what you're shooting at. That's very important. But when you're practicing with a weapon light, when you actually take your gun, and I would highly suggest that you take your gun with the light on it to the range and use it. But here's the deal. Most of you probably won't be actually shooting at night. You're going to have the gun light combination. That's your carry gun or whatever. So you're like, okay, I'm going to take it to the range. I'm going to use it. And you pow, 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 shoot it. What you may not realize is that, especially if you're using practice ammo, because practice ammo, let's face facts, you didn't buy practice ammo because it was the highest quality, best ammunition available, did you?
No.
Well, no, I bought it because it was cheap. I bought it because I knew I was going to be shooting a bunch and it was inexpensive, or, compared to the depleted uranium super death killer stuff, the practice stuff's pretty cheap. Well, the reason that they can make it pretty cheap is because they don't use the super ultra premium powder in it, right? And what do you end up with? Well, you end up with, if you didn't cover it somehow, you end up with a weapon light that has a coating of carbon and funk and nastiness on it. Now, your light, it may be pretty bright. It might be a good light. It might be a Surefire or a Streamlight or whatever, and you're like, oh, no, that's a really good light, man. Okay, but even the best light, if you coat the lens, if you coat it with a layer of funk and nastiness and burnt powder carbon from your shooting, that light's going to have a hard time getting through there. So one of two things you can do. Number one, keep a roll of masking tape in your range bag. All right? And before you start your practice session, take the masking tape and just take one or two pieces, however much you need, and put it over there. If you don't leave the masking tape on for a long time, and if the weapon light doesn't get hot, it shouldn't melt. Masking tape is meant to not leave residue behind. I know some of you guys are like, oh, no, I can't do that because it'll leave sticky residue. Then get the blue tape. I don't care, man. Get the blue stuff. Get whatever doesn't leave a sticky residue behind. If you don't want to do that, okay, great. Here's what you're going to need to do, or at least what you should do. After you're done shooting, and I know a lot of you guys out there right now, you're like, I never thought of that. And I've been practicing with my gun with the weapon light on it a bunch. I didn't even look at the light. I didn't even look at the lens to see if it's funky. Take the light off of your gun. Don't point the loaded gun at your face, please. Thank you. Take the light off of the gun. Put the loaded gun somewhere else, or the unloaded gun. Put the gun somewhere else, and then flip that sucker up and look at it. And if you need to, hold it underneath a different light, and you're probably going to cringe. You're going to go, oh, yeah, that is dirty. That's funky. All right, well, clean it. There are lots of products available to clean the lens, and I think you could probably get away with using this from Froglube solvent, because Froglube solvent is not caustic. It's not going to melt or burn or ruin your optics or your electronics or anything like that. Use whatever you want to use. If you want to use the Froglube solvent, great. Don't put Froglube green on your lights. Don't do that.
Why not?
Or you can. Hey, you're an American. You're American. Maybe I want a green tint to my light when I turn it on. No. But clean that funk and nastiness off of your lens, and then the next time you go to the range. Now, I know some of you are like, oh, man, Paul, I'm way ahead of you. I got a super cool Ninja plastic cover on mine. Or okay, great. If you have that, great. But the fact is if you don't pay attention and if you haven't been thinking about it, what's going to happen, the pistols are the biggest culprits in this. Usually a rifle light won't be right up in front, right next to the muzzle. It'll be farther back, and it'll stay cleaner, a lot cleaner than a pistol light. But let's face it, if you look at a pistol with a weapon-mounted light, the light lens is pretty much sitting right below the muzzle of your gun, right? So what happens? Boom, 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 funk, nasty funk. And my advice to you today is, number one, if you're going to practice, Cover that light up with something to keep all that funk from getting on it. And then when you're done, just peel it off, throw it away, and drive on. And if you have been shooting with your weapon light mounted, clean that sucker. Take it off the gun, clean it. Clean your gun occasionally, too. That'd probably be a good thing. And then drive on. So there you go. That's your guns and gear segment for this week. Froglube, well, we just talked about it a little bit, but it is green, minty fresh, United States veteran-owned company, a non-petroleum-based firearms lubricant, and you can get it from froglube.com. Century Arms is the sweetest melon arms maker in the U.S. of A. Yes, indeed, they are. And you can find out all about what they've got to offer, their pistols, their rifles, their ammunition, their accessories, all that jazz at centuryarms.com. And don't forget to come see us at NRA. That's just as you're listening to this, it's only 2 days away. So be there or be square. Duracoat, because life is too short. Zach?
To have an ugly gun.
There you go. Thank you very much.
You are welcome very much.
Zach, where can they go to shop for Duracoat products?
Duracoatfirearmfinishes.com.
That is correct.
And what can they get while they're there?
They can get slightly darker black and
Yes,
gun
they can.
tattoos. Duradyes, Duracoat, Durablue, Durachrome. What?
I think
Actually, no.
maybe on Friday or Thursday, whenever Alex joins us. I believe it's going to be Friday's show. We're just going to have her run through the entire Rolodex of Duracoat products for you guys.
I'll say, Alex, name every SKU in the Duracoat store. Go.
Just real quick, let me get this out there. Now is actually a great time to get yourself a can of slightly darker black because there's a new season of Archer coming up.
Ooh,
So it's timely.
Slightly darker black. Is it more of
Rest
an
in peace, Woodhouse.
or is it more of an aubergine?
No.
Season 2, episode 1. It's more of an aubergine? But seriously, get the Duracoat products at DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com. And don't forget the world-famous shotgun, the fire extinguisher gun. That's right. The real and for true fire extinguisher gun that your friends and neighbors have been talking about, that you've been seeing on television. You've seen it on TV. You've seen it on the internet. You've even seen it on YouTube. You can see it live, in person, at the Duracoat booth. That's right, at the NRA annual meeting. And that booth number is what, Jarrad? 3714? 3417?
Something like that. I can look it up real quick so we don't confuse people.
But it's coming up. All right, SWAT Fuel. SWAT Fuel wants you, yes you, to have a stronger body and a sharper mind this year, right now. Get it done. Stop making excuses. Stop offering yourself excuses. Go to SWATfuel.com and shop around for all the things that you need to help you.
Duracoat, 3716.
3716, that's right. At SWATfuel.com. And when you do that, use the promo code SOTG. How simple is that? That's pretty simple. And you're going to save yourself some money because we love you and we like to help you save money. That's just who we are and what we do. Now, if you are really serious about fighting fitness and about getting fit, you can tune in tomorrow. Every Thursday, we do a fighting fitness segment on grad program bonus hour number 1.
And don't quote me on this, but I believe that I'm going to be talking about the best path for hand-to-hand combat.
Oh,
I'm going to quote you on that.
all right. All right, well, let's move on. We have another segment for Wednesday, and this one also. It's easy for me to say there. It's like I'm a trained professional. We have another theme song for you. Dangerous by Madison Rising. And this is the Student of the Gun Homeroom, and that's the official Student of the Gun Homeroom theme song, brought to you by our good friends at Crossbreed Holsters. Why do we use the theme Dangerous? Well, because the folks at Crossbreed Holsters, they want you to be an armed citizen. If you're a responsible adult human being living within the United States of America, we believe that you should be an armed citizen, and they want you to be dangerous on demand. And you can do that by going to crossbreedholsters.com. Do not forget, when you go to crossbreedholsters.com to shop around and choose your holster, use the promo code SOTG18. That way they know, A, that you're listening and paying attention, and B, that you want to save some money. All right, topic for the day for Student of the Gun Homeroom. Question I received recently, and it said, and the question was, how often should I train? I'm going to break that down into two parts. Number one, when the person asked me, they said, how often should I train?
What's your budget?
No, what they really meant was how often, because they were telling me how they like to go to the public range and shoot.
Oh, how often should I practice?
Yes. So when you say how often should I train, and you really mean going to the local public range and turning money into noise, that's actually practice. Now, training is what you do under the watchful eye of an instructor, someone who can actually coach you and critique you. That is training.
Yeah, if you haven't went through the 7 training tips yet, it's been around for a long time, and I'm surprised that you haven't. But if you're new, go to getsotg.com, sign up for 7 training tips for free.
Yes, getsotg.com. 7 training tips that could save your life, and it's free, and it's available to you right there. So number one, training is what you do under the watchful eye of an instructor. Training teaches you how and what to practice. And when it comes to gunfire and gunfighting and shooting a gun, you go to training and your coaches watch you, your instructors watch you. They demonstrate things. They offer you new ways and techniques and so forth, and they correct your bad habits, and then they send you away. And then you go home, and it's up to you to start practicing what your instructors taught you in training. Now, as to how often should you do that thing, well, that is a good question. I mean, if you want to be a pro, you probably should practice a lot. If you just want to be okay, you can practice occasionally. From a practical standpoint, I mean, I know I'm using the P word a whole lot here, but let's just say from a realistic, practical standpoint, you are the average person who has a family, and you have a job, and you have a career, and you have this and you have that, and you got a lot of stuff going in your life. You can't just go to the range all the time, anytime you want to. Gotcha. I get that. No sweat. Can you budget 30 to 45 minutes a month dedicated to firearms practice? Yes or no? And when I say that, you're like, well, yeah, man. I mean, one time a month? Of course I can. And if you just took a training class, you probably left the training class thinking, I'm going to shoot every week, man, or every other day, or, every single Saturday I'm going to be out shooting. I'm going to do it. You tell yourself that, and then, a month goes by, and 2 months goes by, and 3 months go by, and pretty soon it's been 18 months since you took that training class, and you can honestly say to yourself, you've been to the range 4 times in 18 months. And you go, all right. I did come up with a program to help you make the most out of your time and money. And you're like, money? Yeah, money. If you're going to a pay-as-you-go indoor range, like every time you go in there, you give them some cash and they sell you some time on the range, okay, that's money. If you're buying ammunition and you're turning money into noise, which is what you're doing, you only want to spend so much. The 1-box workout, 50 rounds of ammunition, right? And if you can do that after you go to your training class and learn how and what to do and why to do it, I would do that within the first week of coming back from your training class. Do the 1-box workout. Dedicate 50 rounds. It'll take you about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, if you take your time.
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, you want me to keep talking?
Well, you just said yeah, and
well, I was just going to say, I wasn't sure if you were done with that thought.
Well,
Are you done explaining the program?
Well, yeah, kind of.
Okay, because what I want to do is anybody that's listening right now, if you haven't got the 1-box workout yet, I've actually set up a 50% off page for you guys, but you're going to have to email info@soonerthegun.com to get a direct link. So if you want to save 50% on the One Box Workout, then you can do that. If you don't care, then just go to oneboxworkout.com.
Okay. Yeah, what that does is it is a step-by-step training or practice program. It is a skill maintenance program. Step-by-step, leads you all the way through it, and you can take 50 rounds of ammunition and actually turn it into valuable experience. You're not just generating 50 rounds of empty brass. How many of you guys ever go to the range with your buddies and they buy a box of 50 and they go out there and pow, 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 baby, you pow. And what they have in front of them at 5 yards is a piece of paper that looks like Swiss cheese, a whole bunch of empty brass on the floor around them, and they didn't get anything out of it other than just turning money into noise. We don't want to do that, do we? No. We want to actually leave the range a little bit better than we were when we got there. So that's what the One Box Workout's all about. And as to the main question from the acquaintance, he said, how often should I train? And what he really meant was, how often should I practice? And I'll tell you this, if you can budget 1 box of ammo per month, every month, to do the One Box Workout, you will be well on your way to proficiency. And if you do go to a class, you do take some training, I would recommend that within a week of taking that training, that you get your butt back on the range. You say, I was on the range, man. I spent a bunch of ammo and time and everything. I don't need to go back to the range. No, you do. Because if you wait 2, 3, 4 months after you took your training class, most of the stuff that you learned, you're going to forget. And you're not going to have those habits, the good habits, ingrained in your body. So go to the range. And you know what, Jarrad? Somebody told me, Zach, you're good at math.
Totally.
All right. Get your calculator out. Now, you guys know that over on the TV show, if you watch the TV show, we have used and demonstrated and talked about the High Point C9 pistol, right? I know somebody like, just calm down and be quiet. So, and we did a little thing, about the High Point. And one comment that we got was like, well, by, but somewhere between 10 and 12,000 rounds, I guarantee you that gun's going to break. It's going to break. I know it will. And I would never buy a gun that I knew was going to break. So let's go low end, right? 10,000 rounds, right? So let's say you invested around a couple $100 for the C9, and that this person on the internet was right, and that by 10,000 rounds, it's going to be a broken gun. It won't work anymore. Zachary. All right. Let's say you take 200 rounds to initially practice with the gun. So you got 200. We'll hold that number over here. Then you do what I just said. 50 rounds every month. The One Box Workout, right? To maintain your skill maintenance drill. So, Zachary, what is 50 times 12?
600.
600.
Sorry,
okay.
When I talk for a while.
All right. Now, divide 10,000 by 600. He's got his...
It's magical.
16.6.
So it would take you 16 years to get to that number. So let's just say that you listen to the people on the internet, and they said, about 10,000 rounds, that's just going to break. And you say, okay. So if you did what I said, if you used 200 rounds to start out with to break the gun in, learn how to use it and so forth, and then you dedicated 50 rounds a month, it would take you 16 years to get to 10,000 rounds. Jarrad, if you invested $200 in a gun and it lasted you for 16 years, do you think that would be a valuable investment?
Yes.
Zachary, divide $200 by 16. He's doing it right now.
We want exact figures here at Student of the Gun.
Yes, right.
12.5.
So it would cost you your investment in just the ownership of the gun would be $12.50 a year. Can you swing that? Can you fit that in your budget? I just thought I would throw that out there, because it goes like, I guarantee you. And even if we took it, let's just divide it in half. Go to 5,000. So it would last you it would take you 8 years to get to that amount. That's folks. All right, I'm going to sip some water. Jarrad's going to let Alice talk, and then we're going to get into the meat of the show.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
All right, is everything okay there, boys? My sons, everything good? Thumbs up?
I think he was telling me to mute his mic, but I couldn't. I had to fade the music.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I got a thumb up from me?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Thumb up from Zach?
I needed to cough.
Okay, are we
I'll
all?
hold it.
Not allowed.
Oh, we're all good, though. Okay.
Denied.
All right, feeling of helplessness? Let's face it. If you're an adult American and you have kids, every time your kids go to school, you feel a little bit nervous because you're letting them out of your control. Even 30 years ago, you felt a little bit nervous. Now, eventually you feel less nervous, not because the situation has changed, but just because you're used to it. The first day you send your kid to kindergarten, when my wife cried, she was just like, oh, she bawled. First day Jarrad went to kindergarten, she was a basket case, right? It was like the day he turned 18, she was a basket case. But anyway.
That was interesting.
So every time you let them out of your control, you let them go to their friend's house, you send them away to school or at an overnight or a field trip or whatever, you feel that nervousness. You do. Because you aren't there to protect them. And you hope and pray that the adults that are around your children are competent and confident enough and intelligent and capable enough to protect your children and keep them safe. The sadness that we experience as occupants of the United States of America in the 21st century is when we realize that there are adult humans occupying this world that don't have the courage or the skill or seemingly the desire to protect our children. We send our children to schools, and the schools tell us, yes, you just don't worry about it. We got it. We'll take care of them. And then we see time and time and time again that that's not happening. Now, I'll say it before, I've said it before and I'll say it again, get your kids out of public schools. Do I need to say that one more time, or did you guys get it?
Go for it.
Get your kids out of public schools. That is a terrible place for your children to be. But regardless, your kids aren't always going to be under your wing. And we've had several fans of the show, people who watch the videos and this and that, and they're like, okay, smart guy, what in the world can I do? My kids can't have weapons. They're not allowed. They're kids anyway. And I'm not going to send my kid to school with a Kimber with Hydroshocks or even not Hydroshocks. So what the farfignugan am I supposed to do? There are positive, proactive steps that you can take to help your kids survive, to be secure, so that you can be less afraid for your children. And we're going to talk about that today. All right, number one, I think we all understand and realize that in the little prisons that we call public schools today, that our children are forbidden. They're all gun-free. Now, they're not just gun-free zones. They're weapon-free zones. If you put a paring knife in your kids, your teenage kid's lunch bag so they can peel an apple or cut an orange or something, they'll end up in freaking juvenile hall. They'll call the SWAT team down on them. You can't do that. Heck, if they have a T-shirt that has a picture of a gun on it, the vice principal will call the sheriff's department to have them removed from the school. So, obviously, what you would think of as a normal defensive tool, anything that could be construed as a weapon, is forbidden. Okay. What can you equip your children with? You say, I'm going to buy my kids, my daughter, my sons, I'm going to buy them pepper spray. Wrong. Well, you can do that, and I would suggest doing that, but here's the thing. If their teachers are little socialists, they're socialist bullies, and if they catch them with pepper spray, even if they didn't do anything wrong, they're going to take it, they're going to charge them with violating the zero-tolerance weapons policy. And then you're going to have to go through that rigmarole. And who wants to do that? Not me.
I want to do that.
You want to do that, Zach?
I said sarcastically.
Sarcastically, I'm in charge.
Yep.
Number 1. Buy your kids an aluminum-bodied flashlight, one that runs on. And if you go online, there is a really good. Jarrad, can you do this for me, or someone, Jarrad or Zachary?
What's up?
Look up Bright, B-R-I-T-E, Strike, S-T-S-T-R-I-K-E, Bright Strike Light. And I want you to find me the best price, because I know the price varies. And I know parents are out there that are like, I'm not buying my kid a Surefire 6P, and I'm not buying him a Tactician because my kids are retarded and they'll lose them.
There is a military-grade tactical LED CR blah, 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 blah. You can get them for $20.
No, that's not the Bright Strike.
No.
Okay.
I'll look it up because I know what you're looking for.
Yeah, it has to be the Bright Strike because I can already vouch for and attest to the quality. I don't want a made in Taiwan.
There's a holster for $34.
Anything that says military grade in the title is not.
Yeah, there's a helpful hint for you. If they started out with military grade, it's probably a ripoff.
Bright Strike Basic Tactical Light High-Low Strobe, $52.
Is that the executive?
Is that the executive?
It doesn't say. It's from lagear.com.
Okay, let Jarrad look up the executive. My point is this. There is a flashlight. It runs on AAA batteries. It is super bright. It is made of aluminum. It's easy to conceal. It doesn't look menacing. And it's called the Bright Strike Executive. I'm sorry, Zachary. I kind of led you down a bad path. I forgot that Bright Strike was branching out into a bunch of different stuff. The reason I meant...
Between $50 and $60.
Okay, between $50 and $60. Yes, that is kind of expensive, but it is a valuable, high-quality tool. And it's up to you. I mean, when you look at your children's, when you look in their eyes, you say, hey, you'll know whether or not they're responsible enough to be trusted with something that's worth $50. And if they're not, then say, I don't know what to tell you, Make your kids be more responsible or make them give you a deposit. Hold $50 in an envelope and tell them if they lose that, then they forfeit the. You know what? That's a great idea, Zach.
What?
Jarrad. Let's say you got a 15, 16-year-old, right?
Yes.
And
I do.
And you want them to have that, and they want to have it. And you're saying, here's what's going to happen. You get $20, $40, $50, whatever, from your kid, and you say, I need you to be responsible with this. I need you not to lose this light because it is valuable and it's a valuable tool. Put the date on it, sign it, put it away, and tell them that in 6 months or 12 months or 9 months, or you figure it out, if they can show you that they still have that light in their possession, give them the money back. It'll teach them responsibility. That's a great idea. I'm glad I just had that. And you say, well, what's my kid going to do with a light? Escape. Have you ever been in a building with no windows when the power went out? What happens? It gets really dark.
It's dark.
It gets really dark really fast, doesn't it? Yeah. And what do people do? Well, Most people will either whip out their cell phone and try and use it as a flashlight, and maybe that will work. How far does the light on a phone carry?
Like 8 inches?
Yeah. 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet? No.
Million feet.
Oh, something else that you can do with that aluminum. And the reason I said aluminum bodied, because if you teach your kids a few things, they can put that aluminum bodied flashlight into their hands and they can put the hurting on somebody who's trying to hurt them. Okay? I can't teach you that on this radio show because it's not visual. Number one, I would do that. Number two, I would make sure that your kids have some type of emergency trauma kit. And I know you just said, no, I'm not going to do that because A, it's too big and too bulky and too large, and B, it's too expensive, and they'll lose it, and then I'll be really mad because I paid $84 for the trauma kit and they lost it. All right, the answer to that is twofold. Number one, you don't have to pay $88 to a company that's going to steal your money, because if you're paying $88 for a pocket kit, you're being robbed. And number two, there are kits that are small enough that even a kid who's going to junior high or high school can put it in their backpack or their purse or their pocket or whatever, and they can have it with them. We make one that's called a student kit. That's the whole reason that Zachary and I and Jarrad, we actually that idea came from a meeting that Jarrad and I had with E.J. Owens of legallyconcealed.org. And he said, all right, you've got the super kit, you've got the enhanced kit, which is the great, you've got the basic kit, which is the better, or, good, better, best, or whatever, the best, better, but where's your good kit? And we're like, you know what, you're absolutely right. So we came up with the student kit. The student kit is relatively inexpensive. Zach, Shipping Ogre, tell me what a student kit costs.
$21.99 plus shipping and handling.
Okay. So less than $25, right? Less than $25 investment in the kit. And in there, what you're going to have is you're going to have the gloves. You're going to have a pair of the nitrile gloves, non-latex gloves. You're going to have the 3-foot roll of duct tape. You're going to have a roll of gauze, and you're going to have a TK4 tourniquet plus the little card that comes inside of it, plus the actual packaging itself. The reason we did that, and the whole purpose, I called it the student kit on purpose, because I know you guys out there, you guys are smart and you're prepared and you're, prepared individuals. You're armed citizens. Mm-hmm. So you bought a Pocket Lifesaver kit, the enhanced kit with all the good stuff in it. And you look at that enhanced kit and you think, if I give this to my 15-year-old and they lose it, I'm going to be really mad. Okay, if you buy it in the student kit, if you give it to them and you say, hey, where's your kit? And they're like, I can't find it. You're going to be annoyed, but you won't be as mad as you would have been if they lost an enhanced Pocket Lifesaver kit, right? Let's face it. That's why you don't give your 14-year-old your Surefire Tactician or 6P, because you know that if they lose your $200 flashlight, you're going to be really angry.
I just went to PocketLifesaver.com, and believe it or not, all the kits have 5 stars.
Oh, well, awesome. They should.
It's like you did something that was...
Did something correct.
Yeah, did something right.
It's like we did something right. Teach your kids. People say, well, how can I teach my kids traumatic medicine or trauma care? I can't do that. Did you teach your kids how to swim? Do your kids know how to swim? I hope so. Did you teach your kids not to run out in traffic? Do your kids know to look both ways and not run out in traffic? You're like, well, yeah, duh, obviously. Do your kids know how to handle sharp objects or not handle sharp objects? Well, yes. Okay, you taught your kids not to play with matches. You taught your kids how to handle or not touch sharp objects. You taught them how to swim. They know how to cross the street without getting run over. You can teach them how to stop themselves or someone they care about from bleeding to death. You can do it. It's not that hard. Get some training and make sure your kids know. Jarrad, testify.
Yeah.
Good job.
Wasn't that good enough?
Yes. When I started working full-time as a TCCC instructor, I made kits. And they weren't for my kids.
Yeah.
Jarrad was like 18 or 19, and Paxton was 14, I think. So you're like 18 and she was 14 or something, whatever.
I used mine within the first, 6 months?
Jarrad used his kit within the first 6 months to help somebody who had heavy bleeding in their hand.
Heck, I don't know. Did I use the tourniquet or did I use the gauze?
The gauze, you wrapped it.
Pressure wrap,
You packed it and wrapped it.
I have a piece of advice for you guys that are listening. If you drill an auger bit through your arm, do not remove it.
Oh, that's right. It was his arm. Yeah.
Or hand or something. I don't remember.
No, it was his arm. He drilled it through his arm.
I'm pretty sure it was his forearm.
Yeah. Number one, don't drill an auger bit through your forearm. Step one. And if you do, step two, don't pull the bit out because it's stopping the bleeding.
Because there were two different instances. One was a while ago. It was before that one, that where a dude had drilled it through his hand. But I don't remember if the hand one was the one where he backed it out or if it was the arm one. But I'm pretty sure that it was the forearm.
I think it was the forearm one, yeah. And so Jarrad knew what to do, packed the wound, put a pressure dressing on the wound. They transported the guy to the hospital, and the people at the hospital are like, damn, who put this bandage on? I'm like, my kid, that's who put that bandage on. And my daughter, within a few months of Jarrad using his emergency kit, she was on a field trip. One of her classmates injured himself. None of the adults had a first aid kit. Forget a trauma kit. I'm talking about the little plastic box with the silly Band-Aids and 2x2s and, the 1/2-inch tape that is good for basically nothing. My daughter's 14 years old. She's on a class trip. Kid cuts his hand open, is bleeding, and not one adult chaperone has a medical kit. Not one. My 14-year-old daughter performs, she gives this kid first aid with her kit. Your kids, if they can be taught not to run out in traffic, if they can be taught how to swim, if they can be taught not to play with guns or sharp objects or whatever, if they can be taught that, you can teach them what to do when the bright red stuff comes flowing out. And what I'm telling you, when you prepare your kids, when you give them the lights and you show them this and you show them that, you're mentally preparing them to deal with the anxiety and the trauma that the dangerous world is getting ready to throw at them. At some point in time, we don't know when, our children are going to be put in a position where the world all of a sudden becomes dangerous, whether or not it's they could be on a field trip and their bus flips over and is in a ditch. There's no terrorism, no shooters, no guns involved, just a traffic accident. And there they are. Prepare your kids. You can do it. Rather than just like hoping and praying and wishing for new laws. And, I don't know how new laws are going to prepare your children to stop themselves or someone else from bleeding to death. Or how they can escape from a fire or an emergency or whatever. And that's another thing. When you have something like a really powerful LED light and there's smoke in the air, it's hard to get through smoke with a weak light. You need a bright white LED light to cut through that smoke and to find your way out of that building. I know it's scary. I know you don't want to think about that. You don't want to think about your kids being in an emergency or a crisis or a fire or, I don't want to think about that. Oh, it keeps me up at night. But ignoring it is not going to help your kids. Prepare them. Get them ready today. And all those things I just talked about, the emergency medical kit, the light, and so forth, none of those things can be taken away. None of them are weapons. And I tell you what, do I have to tell you, Jarrad, how nuclear it would be like? It'd make Hiroshima look like a birthday party if I found out that a school confiscated my child's medical kit. It'd be like Nagasaki. Nagasaki would look like a birthday party if I had to go to the school to find out that the principal or vice principal had confiscated my child's emergency medical kit. Homie, don't play that. Yeah. So
there are a few. Never mind.
We're not going to tell stories on me. It's not the bonus hour.
Correct.
So yes,
it will be tomorrow, though.
Yeah. So yes, indeed, the world is a scary place. There are bad things and bad people in the world, and we like to think that all the adults that are going to be around our kids, are there to protect them and keep them safe. The fact of the matter is, in the real world that we live in, that's not necessarily always the case. Help your kids be prepared, and those 2 little things that I gave them right there can do that. All right, guys, that's it for the week for the public hour. If you are a grad program member, great, fantastic, good on you. We're going to be back tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. And Friday we're going to have Ms. Nancy and Alex on for a special bonus. And tomorrow we're going to talk about a fighting fitness and, a bunch of other stuff that you're not going to want to miss. And please stop by if you're at the NRA. Come and say hello. Friday and Saturday, Century booth, Night Vision booth. We'll see you there.
Yep. Text NRA to 844-207-7684. We will send you text reminders to be at the giveaways. We are involved with 2 for sure.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.